Short updates from the cafe. I get the appeal of reading at a cafe, is even more so if you end up finding a cafe with like the perfect seat and table height difference or the perfect drink. The dessert was really good and the drink was good. And the chair wasn't too uncomfortable for me to stay there for like 2 hours straight. The only thing was that the table was a bit far from the chair and the height wasn't the most comfortable. Like the difference from, it was mainly the distance from the chair and the table weren't the most comfortable, but other than that, it was overall a quite pleasant experience. I think I will be going to that cafe more often. They also have a brunch and sandwich menu, so maybe one day I'll do that and have a meal and then stay there for some reading. And I got a really nice table. I liked the table I was at. I got the corner seat. It was closest to the AC, and yeah, overall very pleasant experience. I really enjoyed it. So what I had in here, and I'll give a short update or a hopefully smallish update on what I read. I had my book journal. I love the sticker combo and the color cohesion of it. Oh, my favorite sticker artist. Beautiful. I love this sticker. I love these two stickers. But I mean this one also. And then it continues on into here. Look at that, the bookshelf. Ugh, gorgeous. So I took my book journal. I took some notes on volume 1 of Lout of Count's Family. That was in there. So I was in the middle of, what chapter was I in? I think I was almost done with, I was on chapter 3, and I was on, I think it was like page 103 or something, and then I went from page 103, chapter 3, to page 250, chapter 7. I did read a bit more after the clip of me closing the book and everything. Yeah, so I didn't finish the book, despite what I thought I would, but I'm like, I feel like I read a good amount within like the 2 hours. Yeah, I had a great time reading this book. I'm very excited to finish it and then to get to the other 3 volumes. I don't know if I'm like being very hopeful. But I had so much fun. Actually, let me put this here. I had so much fun reading this book, and I don't know if it's because I'm feeling hopeful that my reading slump is slowly leaving and that I'm slowly getting over it, but I was like, I felt like I haven't had so much fun just reading in so long. And whether it was because I have familiarity towards the story, because I've read the webtoon, I'm like exposed to the community where they talk theories, where they like share their thoughts on, chapters, etc. So I don't know if it's because I have familiarity with this story, but I feel like it's also just such a fun story. I think the translation is doing a great job. There have been very good, like, the moments of humor and comedy sprinkled throughout have managed to like make me laugh or giggle or find it funny. You know, it's like very good balance of humor, such a good character, and he's very fun to read about and like see his thought process. So, you know, I'm just having a good old time reading this novel, and I'm very excited to get to the other three. And yeah, I've just been, this is like, I was thinking, like, oh my gosh, I feel like I haven't felt this excited or have had, or like actively felt this fun while reading a book, and I feel like that means good things for me. And I'm really enjoying the story itself as well. Okay, so those were just my thoughts on the book. I will finish the clip for today here. So this is very exciting because I don't know if you could tell, but I bought a new tripod stand so I could get a better angle for this, and also just when I film chatting to you with you guys. Yeah, so I have my matcha set up ready. I've got, it's gonna be apple juice matcha today. I have my breakfast I'm gonna have first, which is just very little amount leftover Misukaru oatmeal. And I've been really enjoying apple juice matcha. It's definitely gonna probably be the main way I drink matcha in the summer. Recently, milk and oat milk has just felt too heavy, so juice it is. And hopefully I don't need to open the new one. This probably should be enough for the amount I like to have, and I do need to have it because it's pretty expired. It still tastes good though, but let's just finish it off. I've got my matcha. Let's get started. 2 grams because I cannot have more than that. I feel like I had struggled with the round ice cube. So I have my matcha. If you really want to avoid the bitterness, because the apple juice tends to have a bit of a more natural sweetness, try it with apple juice. It's so good. Quick update on the book. I did not finish it last night. As you saw, I was staying up late trying to finish editing my May wrap-up video, which has come out by now, so if you're curious, please check it out. But I read a bit more this morning, and I'll probably read a bit more before I have to head out. So I'm actually quite close to, am I close to finishing? I'm like 30, almost 40 some pages away. I have to finish a chapter, and then I'll have just chapter 9 left. I'm currently on page 350, chapter 8. And I think, I'm not sure how chapter 9 is gonna end. Like, is it gonna be the end to this build up of a scene where we've been like given hints at, or is it gonna end at a cliffhanger? Who knows? But I've been really enjoying it. I have a lot of fun, so I'll probably finish this while drinking my matcha, and then maybe start volume 2, maybe read something else. Who knows? Okay, so first book of this vlog is finished. I didn't start this book from the very beginning, but I was at least only a third into the book, maybe. Like, yeah, a third into the book. A fourth into the book, and I finished it. I'm very happy I was able to finish this book. I'm currently charging my e-reader, so it's going to, I'm not going to pick that up right away. I think I'm going to do some more editing for the cafe video I have in mind. I think I was a little surprised at how the volume ended. It makes sense why though, but some of the chapters were really long, so I guess I wasn't expecting it to end at the point that it did, but now that I read what happened, it makes sense. So it didn't end at a cliffhanger. If anything, it actually ended at, like, I wouldn't call it a cliffhanger, but it did end right before the climax and chaos of the scenario we've been building up to. So I'm excited to see how that goes in volume 2. And then I think volume 2 is really where everything's going to start picking up into our main character's journey of not being able to be the Lout that he so clearly desires. I have to actually start getting ready to head out. It's not anytime soon, but I think things will take a bit longer. So I'll stop here for now. I'm gonna go to my friend's book club today, actually. We're gonna talk about Molka by Monika Kim. Looking forward to the discussions we're gonna have. And I'll talk to you guys after. Sarakia, see. I think it is.
Tu vois ce que je veux dire? Donc en fait c'est chiant. La deuxième chose de café currently it was so noisy. So we were screaming at each other. How did you find this cafe? It's really good.
Were they croissants?
Yeah, they're croissants.
Je comprends. We want to go on a picnic. But I'm like, something to tell about you. Like, that would be fun. So I was like, okay, we need to do a book club and like talk about this because I feel like it's really good when we have like when we disagree.
So I look a little dull right now, but the book club was good. We had really good discussions and a lot of things to think about. Definitely a lot of good points were brought up, and it has me rethinking my original rating and thoughts. And I'm currently on my way to the Shijang nearby to get some lunch and then hopefully have it stay fresh enough to go home.
How can I find satisfaction? I fill my time with more distractions. Another text, I gotta respond. I'm in my head, I just wanna turn it off. Just wanna turn it off. I'm good as long as I'm productive. Even if it's self-destructive.
Oh my gosh, you guys. It's so freaking hot today. As you saw, I bought lunch from a shijang, or like a market. Thankfully, it seems like the sushi has held up well. So I put that in the fridge just now. I am going to wash up super quick, eat, and then keep reading. Mung bean pancakes over here. They only split in two, but it's fine. I'll have half today, half tomorrow, and the other one will be for my family. But yeah, I'm gonna fry this up a little bit to heat it up. That is heating up already. For now, the plan is to just eat half so I don't overeat. Okay, here is my lunch spread. I'm so excited to eat. I'm so hungry. Let's have a bit of a better view. Picture. I have some sushi. I have miso that they gave like some miso base in a mini packet. Got my mung bean pancake, got my kimchi jjigae, some rice, and my soy sauce and my drink. I'm so hungry. Let's get into this.
Needs me, gotta say yes. I miss my bed, but I keep running instead. I keep running instead. It's been non-stop running round the clock. Feels like I'm gonna fall, and I know that it's no one else's fault but mine. Even still, please leave me a message at the tone, or leave me alone. I'm sorry I can't sleep, can't reach it for tea. When I can't meet my goals, I'm scattered and it shows. I'm busy. Paralyzed by my
Okay, so a quick update and wrap up to the day of this vlog. Sorry if I sound weird. I currently have my mouth guard on, but I finished volume 1 today. I'm pretty sure I told you guys I finished volume 1 and I already got started on volume 2. Surprisingly, I'm already halfway there. Apparently so I'm on chapter 14 and I'm numerically that's halfway and I'm having a lot of fun. What happened right now, the story's progressing really quickly, and as much as I'm enjoying the story and as much as I like the characters, I'm trying to think about, I want to say maybe I read through it too quickly, but it seems like there's some parts that seem like it doesn't seem super strongly connected, but I mean the world's pretty vast and all that, so we'll see how it all ties together. Very cute. The scene I stopped at to update you guys with is so emotional. It was interesting to see what the manhwa skips over, and I'm looking forward to see what else is gonna happen in volume 2. Hopefully I can finish it tomorrow and then, you know, maybe decide to take a break from Lout of Count's family and read something else for now. But so I am going to get ready to sleep, and I'm gonna sleep. If I wake up early tomorrow in time for a soccer game, I might give that a watch tomorrow. Other than reading and having that exciting lunch idea I thought of and am looking forward to eating, there's nothing else I think I have specifically in mind. Oh, before I like officially do that though, today wasn't so busy, but it was so hot today. I think that now we've actually truly entered Korea's summer, because the other days while it was hot, we still had some pretty nice breeze. The temperature wasn't getting like as high, but I think today was 30 degrees and it's still not humid yet. But it's like slowly starting to get humid, and the sun was just so strong and so freaking hot today. I think it was made worse because I did a lot more walking than I normally can, that I typically wouldn't be able to handle at like the peak of Korea summer. But I did have a very fruitful walk. Like I said, I walked to the Shijang. I did not film me getting the stuff because I can't film very well in the summer because both hands are occupied. One hand is holding my sun umbrella, the other is holding my fan. So there's just no way for me to film. So I was gripping and like holding on to a lot of things on the way. And then I walked to the station and then I went home. Yeah, but then I had to walk more after the marketplace, and that was also pretty. Thankfully the side I was walking on had a lot more shade, so it wasn't that bad. And then I got home. I'm pretty sure I updated you. I washed up and then I did it up. I didn't get that much reading done once I got home. I did just take the opportunity to laze around a little bit because that's just honestly, it was so hot. I was mainly recovering from that. But yeah, so I think I will read a bit more. Maybe like finish chapter 14 and then go to sleep. And then see what time I wake up tomorrow. Good morning. I'm trying out clipping the microphone off the collar. But it is currently what time is it? 8:28 a.m. I have the Brazil-Morocco soccer game. So I will start off my day with my daily dreaded apple cider vinegar and then my breakfast of overnight oats and then read. Honestly, if this momentum keeps up until next Sunday, I think I'm gonna have very little screen time on my phone.
There's never enough time to get through it. Don't get to rest, on to the next. Got me so stressed. I just wanna do what's best. I wanna do.
Sorry, this is off balance. I don't know why, and my microphone has charged. But I just wanted to say, I have recently feel like I've been seeing the benefits of having breakfast because I've been a skip breakfast girly for almost my entire life. I got into that habit because of school. It all goes back to school. No, I'm just kidding. But because I lived far from my school and I would only have like 30 minutes to do everything and then go get ready to because I had to wake up at like 5 a.m. earlier than that. And you know, no high schooler, no school student wants to wake up that early unless they absolutely have to. But because of that, I would wake up maybe 30-40 minutes before the bus would come. So I had to quickly get ready. I wouldn't eat so that I wouldn't upset my stomach. And because of that, I just got used to not having breakfast. But now I realized even having a little bit can hold off your hunger for so long. Even if I don't have a lot, I have like half of the container you saw. That still keeps me quite full for a good amount of time. One day when I had skipped my breakfast, I was so hungry by like 10:30, 11. I was so hungry and I was like, wow, I don't think I felt this hungry in so long. And I realized it's because of my oats. Like, it's because I had breakfast of some sort. So if you can, don't skip your breakfast, kids. Basically.
What's best? It's been non-stop running round the clock. Feels like I'm gonna fall, and I know that it's no one else's fault but mine. Even still, please leave me a message at the tone. Oh, leave me alone. I'm busy. I can't keep up. I busy myself without reason. I feel stuck. I work until it becomes too much. I can't slow down. Been rushing so long, I don't know how. Wish I had more time, but still please leave me a message at the tone. Oh, leave me alone. I'm sorry, I can't sleep, can't reach at 40 when I can't.
So I just wanted to give some thoughts to what I'm reading. I haven't finished chapter 14 yet. Oh no, I have. What the? Okay, so I'm on chapter 15. I don't remember seeing the title page for chapter 15. I'm very confused. Anyways, my microphone is still charging. Hopefully you can still hear me fine though. So I just had a few thoughts because again, kind of not necessarily subverting or breaking the transmigration trope, but I do find it interesting how we're kind of given, I just realized that it is kind of tweaking the transmigration trope a little bit, because normally for the transmigration trope, when the character realizes they've transmigrated, maybe it's because I've read mainly manhwas instead of novels for this, but most of the time they like tell the readers right away who they were before they transmigrated, and normally they like give out all the information, like they were from modern Korea, they were like a college student, an office worker, and how they think they ended up transmigrating, which is where the typical car accident or vehicle accident or an accident or just falling asleep. It's either an accident or falling asleep that sends them there. But I was realizing that for Kale or Kim, I don't know if it's Roksu or Roksu. I think it's Roksu. For Kim Roksu, am I rolling my R's? Anyways, we just find out that I realized that we don't actually know a lot of his life as Kim Roksu before he became Kale. We know that he was reading a novel. We know that he's an orphan. But from the spoilers that I know of, from people who have been keeping up with the novel, I'm still not like, I think there's a bit of a deeper secret to his old life. But it's interesting how there's always kind of these little hints thrown around that's kind of revealing why he's acting a certain way as Kale, or like kind of revealing hints of his motivations for acting the way, for the decisions he's making, for the actions he's taking as Kale. It's very interesting to realize that we don't actually really know who Kim Roksu is just yet. So yeah, I was going to update or like cut back to reading, but I just read something that's very interesting and something to think about, because it's gonna be a bit of a spoiler. But from chapter 15, we learn about a character that had a decently big role in the original plotline, I think, and it's the character named Harold. And spoiler alert, okay, if you don't want to hear it, feel free to skip. But in chapter 15, so there's a kingdom, I think it's the kingdom of Whipper. The world building is kind of not the easiest for me to keep track of, or at least I'm not paying too much attention to, which is biting me back in the butt. But there's a kingdom, and there is it's a kingdom where, despite having a royal family ruling the country, this organization of mages are actually in power, and they've kind of established this hierarchy, this power hierarchy, like power, political, social hierarchy, where mages are like, they're on top of everyone else. If I had to say it, it's like in terms of not rich people, I would say maybe white people, like extreme white supremacy-esque values. In this case, it's like magic supremacy. Oh, that's the word I needed. But basically, this tower of mages, which is like the tower where the mages, this specific organization belongs and works in, they believe and they've also kind of established a hierarchy and like set of supremacist values, where if you have mana and you're a mage, then you are on top, you're better than everyone else, you can do whatever you want. And there's what made a civil war of sorts occur is that in that same kingdom, there was eventually a group of people who had specifically anti-mana physiology, so they are resistant to mana and they can't ever be mages. So, but because they were like a very, very minority of the kingdom, they also experienced a lot of discrimination and everything. So The situation was very bad and extreme in that sense, and what made it worse is that we find out that the mages would experiment on people, and they would use the citizens, like they were just able to run amok and do whatever they wanted. And we find out that Harold was actually the son of the tower, like the leader of the mages of the Tower of Mages. And but because his mom wasn't a mage, he can like he has mana, or he can sense mana, but he has the anti-mana physiology, I think, like centered in his heart or something. Either way, it's like he it's going to be out of reach, because both like his mage father ability and stuff is like still in him, but the anti-mana from his mom is like making him unable to do anything. So what this is kind of the part I wanted to get to. The part that I thought was interesting was how it seems like it set up Harold to be a very interesting character, because so we find out he's the son, and it seems like we get a reveal that I think kind of changed my perception of Harold. So at first we think that, oh, maybe he was advocating for equal rights, or at least just because at this point in the story they managed to overthrow the mages, and they're like trying to get rid of any magic in the kingdom. So there are some mages who weren't part of that because they either weren't interested or they didn't agree with it. But because the Tower of Mages, I think, held a lot more than normal, and because of just the mana magic supremacist values that like took over the kingdom, they're like, no matter what, if you're a mage, you're just not going to be welcome anymore. So politics stuff aside, at first we're thinking, oh, Harold seems to be advocating for, you know, overthrowing this group of people who are doing terrible acts and wanting to better the lives of like the citizens and the anti-mana people. But then we get this line that Kale tells us from the original novel, where it's like, so it's kind of revealing the root of Harold's anger, which is that his mom died while giving birth, and the dad never knew of his existence. And I don't know if maybe he thought that because of his physiology or something, that he thought his dad wouldn't want to know about him. But then Kale tells us that the original novel had a line where it's like he was actually a product of love, like his parents were actually in love with each other. Some reason though, they just never, at one point they separate, and he was just never aware that she was pregnant and then gave birth. So he genuinely had no idea he had a child. But the thing that makes it so interesting is that you realize that Harold's motives then for helping the anti-mana faction overthrow was so personal, because if you think about what Kale said and like what he tells us, it makes you realize that because he was a product of love, which is I think was made to kind of deliver like the tragedy behind Harold's anger and stuff. But if you think about it the other way, because he was a product of his love, if the Tower Mage leader had known, then Harold definitely probably, it's very interesting too, because you'd never know how he would take the anti-mana, because he was the leader of this, group of mages who held these supremacist values, right? So it's hard to tell how he would take in his son, who's kind of like so close to being able to access mana but simply can't. So it's like, okay, that aside, he probably would have been brought in, and raised with love, like a 50-50 chance of love. So there's also the chance that he would have adopted these supremacist values and then not end up wanting to participate in this overthrowing of the mages. It's just so interesting to think that this guy who in the original novel was like half of the leading, like was the founder of this faction and like organization to start overthrowing the mages. And when we find out that that motive is so personally driven, and then we think about the possibility of what could have happened, it's just, I think it's just so, it's definitely some, it's just interesting to think about how that impacted his overall like decision in the story, but how completely opposite it could have gone because of how personal this was. Okay, so something I'm still curious about that I'm not sure if I missed something or if it's gonna like I said, this is a very long novel. If it's something that's gonna be revealed eventually, but the existence of ancient powers here, from what I kind of know of and what I've been picking up while reading, so ancient powers, I don't know how many there are, but at the very least there seem to be six or seven. um Again, I don't remember reading about the origin of ancient powers and like what they are, but for now it seems like there are at least four. How many elements are there? Four or five that not, I don't think resonate, but that seem to represent like the natural elements of the world. So like earth, wind, so earth is wood, so wood, fire, air, water. Is it four or five? Maybe something I'm missing. Either way, represent nature. And Kale didn't let himself finish that thought, but I'm wondering if like what thought is he thinking of? But also I'm wondering if like if you get all five ancient power, like all elemental ancient powers, if that's something. And it seems like there's like a larger evil organization at large, and they seem to want ancient powers or something. It seems like whatever that evil organization is doing seems to be connected to the ancient powers because of the stories Kale would tell us of the original or like the last holder of the ancient powers. So there's definitely a connection brewing, and there's definitely a connection brewing between the elemental ancient powers, but there are other ancient powers as well. I just don't remember reading about the origin of ancient powers, but definitely something brewing at large. So I can't give you a final update just yet, um, but I am almost done with volume 2. I'm on chapter 17, and this time I actually saw the title thing for the chapter. I don't know how I was not seeing it for chapter 15 and 16. I don't know if I was just so absorbed in the story I didn't realize it said chapter 15, chapter 16. Hopefully you can hear me. I don't want to stretch on my collar, so I'm trying to like find the good angle. But chapter 17, I have this and chapter 18 left. Very, very fun story, very well written, very well translated. I don't read a lot of Western fantasy though, so I'm not too sure how, like, if the world building is strong, because I also don't read a lot of high fantasy. So if anyone is a high fantasy reader and would like to try something new that's still quite like Western fantasy coded, please tell me what you think of the world building, because I also have not thought of the crafting it requires to do high fantasy or just like fantasy world building and crafting. And right now it seems to be somewhat typical, maybe slightly problematic in how this group, this region of people, they're more like the leader is known as the queen of the jungle. I mean, I guess it's like them being tanned isn't the problem because it doesn't seem like they're discriminated because of that, but it's definitely more like the south region of the world is more into nature. They're more tan. Like their queen is called Queen of the Jungle. She can ride a black jaguar. So I feel like there are slight problematic issues in this kind of world building, but I also wonder if that's also kind of just how people tend to depict in their fantasy worlds. I think I might have missed something. I'm not entirely too sure how or why we're in this region. I think part of it is that Kale wants to have the Queen of the Jungle in his debt, or at least have her favorable to him. But I wonder if that's the only reason, or if there's like if they mentioned there's, I think we're picking up, I don't think there's an ancient power in there, but things are happening. We're still in the Dark Forest. No, we're still in kind of the connecting with the future Queen of the Jungle arc, and I think we're not gonna finish it by then, or we will have just dealt with the thing Kale said he would help them with, and then that's how Volume 2 will end. Either way, I'm almost done. I thought I would finish sooner because the last time check I did was 9:39ish and it's 11:30. I've been reading. I didn't keep reading. I started watching some TV. I started watching a few shows because I was getting a little bored. Well, not bored with the book. I was just watching a few shows because my attention kind of waned to that. But I'm back to reading, and I will update once again when I'm done with the book, and then maybe just start getting ready to eat lunch. Yeah. So I have my water boiling, and I've got my dormyeon. I have my tonkas currently in the air fryer. Shot of my very big lunch that I was excited for, but now I'm a little worried I'm gonna be overstuffed at the end of it. But ta-da! 잘 먹겠습니다. I have finished. Yes, I've finished volume 2. So I think I'll take a break from Lout of Count's family. Where, oh, my phone's charging. I gotta mark down, make sure I remember today, June 14th. It's day I finished volume 2. I was already thinking maybe I read something else other than Lout of Count's family, just cause I've been really enjoying it. I just think maybe I should switch it up a little bit. So I am currently in between what I want to read. I have The Executioners 3 by Susan Dennard to read as well, because I really enjoy The Luminaries. I haven't read the second book. I think the word moon is in there, but I really enjoyed the writing. I enjoyed the setting, the mood that Dennard was able to create. And I can't remember the premise for Executioners 3, but it seemed like very similar to The Luminaries, if maybe a bit more oomph to the overall stuff. So I'm quite excited about that. I binge watched Widow's Bay today. Such a good show. Like, it's so good. Like, it does such a good job of blending horror and comedy. I don't think I've ever burst out laughing, like, honestly, in a while, but also just when I'm also just as scared of what's going on. Truly so good. What else? But yeah, so I forgot. I feel like I should recap or give my brief thoughts of the book. So volume 2 picks up from volume 1, doing. I can't, okay, I don't know if you heard that, but there was just, it's bright out, but there was like the loudest thunder sound ever. But super sunny outside, and I don't think it's rained or raining. Very odd. Anyways, so volume 2 picks up from volume 1, which was so in volume 1 it ended at like this upcoming bombing scene at like the royal capital or something that Kale is currently trying to prevent from happening or prevent as much damage as he can. And then volume 2 picks up from that, so then we have the actual arc of the royal capital confrontation scene occur. And then he goes to another person's territory, and he goes there because there's another ancient power that he knows exists there, and he wants to get it. I can't remember why he wants to get it, but there's also another reason why. I don't know if it was because he wanted it, or I think it was because he's just trying to get as many buffs as he can to like be able to protect himself, but he also doesn't want the person who originally got it to get it. So he's doing that. He goes to someone else's territory where he knows there's an ancient power. He encounters a lot of original characters there as well, and he kind of ends up, as he encounters more people that he recognizes from the original novel, he also keeps kind of getting into their situation and helping them out. But obviously, Hi, so editing Yoon here. I don't know how the microphone of my laptop is, but I don't know why. Well, I think I know why, or like what happened that it got cut off. So I think somebody came to the door, and then I just forgot that I had completely not finished what I was saying, and that um I was saying anything, and then I had some errands to do, and then I think I just forgot. The next clip is me finishing the vlog. So just to say kind of what I was originally trying to say. I don't remember where I was going when I was doing my volume 2 recap and thoughts. But basically, you kind of see the pattern among the volumes where Kale encounters and disrupts major or quite important plot lines in the original novel, and how he also ends up coming across important characters from the original novel as well as a result of disrupting the original plot line. And in volume 2, we have two of those moments happen. So the first one, we have him encountering the one of the most powerful and strongest beast folk tribes in the fantasy setting. So technically they're the strongest beast folk tribe, but in terms of being kind of a creature that can change between humans and creatures, dragons are the strongest, but because they're not considered dragon folk but dragons in terms of beast folk, the whale tribe is the strongest beast folk tribe. So Kale ends up disrupting a plot point from that, and then he ends up encountering the whale tribe and creating a connection and establishing a relationship with them, and he helps them out with the conflict they've been having regarding the mermaids. And then he kind of starts to figure out, he learns that there was more to this conflict than the novel had originally mentioned. So he's kind of realizing that there's a lot more things going on that the novel hadn't mentioned. There's a lot more happening in the world. And so that's like the first that's like one of the two that we have in volume 2. And then the second one, in which the how does it end? The second one, he encounters, I think her name was Rita, but the future queen of the jungle that I mentioned, he encounters her, and then he helps her out with something that she had also struggled with in the original plotline. And he also ends up in getting an ancient power. I think I mentioned this before as well, but it was an ancient power that I don't think he was actively trying to get, but he wanted to get it so that the one who originally got it couldn't get it. So he gets that, and then I think the novel ends it ends at hinting at what's gonna happen next, but not yet starting that arc. So that's just, if I remember correctly, I'm pretty sure those are the only really two big plot points that happen in volume 2 that Kale also goes through. And yeah, so for the thoughts, I think it was still really enjoyable. As a whole, I'm really enjoying Lout of Count's family. I think volume 2, when he met the whale tribe, I think I had mentioned this again. I think I mentioned this earlier in the vlog that I wasn't entirely sure. I got kind of lost as to how we jumped from the ending of volume 1 to volume 2 where he ends up meeting the whale tribe, there was something there that I feel like I think I missed, so it felt a little abrupt and I wasn't sure why we were going this direction. But other than that, really fun. We're starting to see a broadening of the fantasy world, and I already read volume 3, 4, and 5, so I know what happens, but I am very excited to I'm still very excited to continue reading this novel. Back to finishing of the blog.
So, oh my goodness, sorry. Again, sorry for how I sound. I am wearing a mouth guard, but I think I will just end the video here. And I'm pretty satisfied with how many books I did manage to read in this vlog. You know, I finished the book I had started, and I managed to finish a whole other book in almost a day. And they were both very fun reads. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you have read Lout of Count's Family, let me know what you think of it. And if you haven't, and you're feeling like a maybe kind of like an interesting approach to the transmigration trope, but also a Western fantasy, I do recommend Lout of Count's Family. Like I said before, it's very, I don't think it's like very well written in the sense that like it's going to change your life, but I think it's really well written and that it's very good, solid writing. Tells it straight, but it also tells it well. And I think I also mentioned this before, but it just does such a good job at building up to the moment of humor, of like building up to of like pacing, of plot. The plot does lose me a little bit. Like I'm not sure why we're doing something or how we got there. Very fun. I'm loving the characterization. I'm loving the way the I'm loving the dynamics. I'm loving the kind of humorous take to the unreliable narrator. And yeah, I had a great. When did I start this vlog? I had a great like 3 days. Was it 3 or 4 days? I finished 2 books. That's a big one in my opinion. That was it. Thank you for watching. I'll see you next time.